Section 1.2 is titled Adding and Subtracting Real Numbers. First, we want to look at the rules for adding. When you are adding two numbers that have the same sign, you simply add the numbers and have your answer have the same sign as the two numbers. When you are adding numbers with different signs, you subtract the numbers, but keep the sign of the bigger number for your answer. So let's look at some examples. First, we have -7 plus -4. Those numbers are both negative, so we need to add them. 7 plus 4 is 11, and we keep the sign negative. So our answer is -11. Number 2, we have 12 plus -23. These numbers have different signs, so we will subtract the two numbers. 23 minus 12 is 9. And now we have to look at which number is larger, 12 or 23. And when we're comparing the two numbers, don't look at the negative in front of the 23, just think of the number 23 on its own. So 23 is bigger than 12. Now we look at the sign on 23 since it was larger. Because it's negative, our answer is also negative. Number 3 is -26.3 plus 8.9. Those numbers have different signs, so we need to subtract them. I'm going to do some side work here, and we're going to need to do some carrying. 13 minus 9 is 4, 15 minus 8 is 7, and 1 minus 0 is 1, so we get 17.4. We look at the numbers. 26.3 is larger than 8.9, so we want our answer to have the same sign as the 26.3. So our answer is -17.4. Example 4, we have -3/4 plus -1/2. These are fractions. They are both negative. So since the numbers are the same, we're going to add the fractions. In order to add fractions, you must have a common denominator. Our common denominator is going to be 4. So we need to change the 1/2 to a fraction with a denominator of 4. So we look at what can you multiply 2 by to get 4. We multiply 2 times 2, which means we also have to multiply the top by 2 so that we're not changing the fraction. So 1/2 becomes 2 over 4. Now we can add the fractions. So 3 plus 2 is 5 over 4. We need to change this to a mixed number of 1 and 1/4. So our answer is 1 and 1/4. And remember that when the numbers have the same sign, your answer also has that sign. So -1 and 1/4. Now let's look at rules for subtracting. When we subtract two numbers, we will add the opposite, and then the rules are the same. So once you change the sign, the subtraction sign to addition, then we change the number behind it, and the rules stay the same. So let's look at some examples. But before that, what does it mean to add the opposite? Remember that when you are subtracting a positive or minus a positive, it's going to become plus a negative. So the problem becomes 3 plus -9, and we follow our rules for adding numbers. We also could have minus a negative, and that's going to become plus a positive. So now we would follow the rules for adding 3 plus 9. So some examples with subtraction. 2 minus 6 is the same as 2 plus -6. We have two numbers that have opposite signs, so we want to subtract the numbers. 6 minus 2 is 4, and our answer takes the sign of the larger number, which is 6, so we get -4. Number 6, we have -1 minus 4, so when we add the opposite, it becomes -1 plus -4. These numbers have the same sign, so we're going to add them and keep the sign the same. So -1 plus -4 is -5. Number 7, we have 8 minus -4. So when we add the opposite, we have 8 plus, this 4 will become positive. 8 plus 4, the signs are the same, so we add the numbers and we'll keep our answer positive. Number 8, we have 8 over 9 minus negative 5 over 6. So 8 over 9, it's going to be plus, we're changing the sign of the negative 5 6 to positive 5 over 6. Fractions again, so we need a common denominator. 6 doesn't go evenly into 9, so we need a larger denominator than 9. They both go into 18, so our denominator is going to be 18. We multiply 9 by 2, so we need to multiply 8 by 2, so we get 16 over 18. We multiply 6 by 3, so we also need to multiply 5 by 3 and get 15 over 18. Now when we add the fractions, 16 plus 15 is 31 over 18. And since this is a fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator, we want to change it to a mixed number. 18 goes into 31 just one time. And when we try to find the remainder, you can just subtract. And we get 13 over 18. So the answer is 1 and 13/18. Remember though, we want to make sure we put the right sign on the problem, or on the answer. So we go back here after we added the opposite, and both numbers were positive, so our answer is positive. In class, we're going to work on worksheet 1-2, and this ends the video.